Let me. Can you hear me? I can barely hear you.
Okay, I got a problem with my headset.
Now I can hear you better.
You can hear me better now?
Oh yeah, sounds like you're in surround sound. Is that HD quality, 4K?
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Go. That's better, right?
Oh yeah, way better.
All right. I saw that you were tweeting out your crop report, man.
That's not mine. That's going around my house.
That's
It's fried, man.
is that your dove hunting plot or what is that?
No, it's I got about 200 acres around the house that is farmed by a big farmer, and that's one of probably 10 fields that he farms within that little block, and it's bad.
Yeah, I was reading something last week about
Now you're
Houston.
frozen.
How about now? Frozen?
There you go.
Good, good.
You're still
Okay.
frozen, but I can hear you.
Okay. I can see myself moving on my other screen over there, so it may just be frozen on your end. You got me
You're good.
now?
Yep.
Okay. I was reading we're in Texas, in Houston. They had the problem in the cold weather. Now they had a whole bunch of water mains break because the ground is so dry it's shifting and causing water main breaks, which is crazy, right? I mean, so the drought's everywhere
Yeah,
around the South, right?
it's bad.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Well, hey, everybody, welcome to Cutting Edge with Charles De La Torre, Industrial Forest Products, Ashley Buckle Materials Exchange, where we chat about different things going on in the lumber industry. So I got a couple notes here, Charles. Things are never as bad as they are, never as good as they are. Repair and remodel seems to be tempered a bit, but it still seems to be plodding along. I don't think it's at the same levels it was, but it seems like people are still uh, doing some repair and remodel. I know a couple reports came out last week that shows outtake is still decent on that, although a lot of those reports are lagging, right? And a lot of that is based on sentiment of what people hope for. New home sales came out, looks pretty good, and the revised sales are up for the past few months. So I've got to dig more into that to see what it is. It could just be from a lack of inventory that everything that actually is coming available is getting sold, right? I need to dig into the details of the new home sales, right?
Well, what I read something pretty interesting. What's the asterisk at the bottom for margin of error on that report?
Uh, I don't know. I'll have to. I don't want to comment on that. I have no idea what it is. There always is because there's always revisions, right?
Because I think they were up. What were they? I think I read somewhere that there was a 10% plus or minus.
Yeah, it's a pretty big swing, right? But so let's talk about what you and I are seeing in the real world, right? And the boots on the ground in the areas we look at. So I'm seeing more people calling me in the last week saying, "Hey, I'm a multifamily person and I just started buying lumber. I need to buy some stuff for jobs. Are you seeing prices going up?" Right? If you haven't been around for the last 2 weeks, prices have been kind of stabilized and are going up in some items from
Firming for
below,
sure.
firming
Yeah.
for sure. Another thing that I think I know is people are covering stuff, but they're not building a big inventory like they normally have. Does that make sense? So where are we at right now? I think we found a place in the market with a steady takeaway. Things are still pretty decent. That could change because with everything going on with financial meddling, so to speak, or adjusting of the knobs at the Fed of what kind of rates are set and what goes on. That changes from a daily basis. Um, I think we can all agree on that. So I think and the other thing that I will say that I see on social media, everybody talking about how these mills that have a higher cost of production may shut earlier than they think, which cause a big problem. I don't see any mills shutting down for a long time, in my personal opinion. I mean, they're running as normal. They're going to talk about how there's high cost of production. I don't know that to be a fact at many of them, but they're going to run until I don't see any shutdowns long term where they're just going to mothball them for a while. Do you?
No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to have, one thing I heard last week was curtailments without speaking of curtailments, right? So what you do there is you create a false floor just simply on a supply side, and that doesn't really bode well for the market participants that are in it every day, right? Because you have a bunch of short covering, which has happened over the past week and a half, and then you have multifamily guys that have said, "Oh, well, I'll do this and this, and we'll buy volume, and I want PTS basis, and I want to lock in pricing for September." I mean, we're quite frankly, Ash, we're running away from that business because you either pay the price that we need for it to make sense for risk premium,
Yeah.
or we're not taking any counters on that stuff.
Well, there's too many unknowns, right? Why do you want to take something for September? Basically, they've piled all that risk upon you, right?
Yep.
And I mean, the fact is, people that are coming to you asking for that probably have profit built into it already. I guess the question is there, what do you need? The question you always want to ask people is, what can you pay, right?
Oh yeah.
And then what can you really pay, right?
What's the best value for you given the circumstances? I mean, you still have guys that are locking in material that were closed 90 days ago. That was a totally different world.
For
So
sure.
it's quite interesting. But one thing that I've kind of taken away from all this, especially on the multifamily side, is that single families single-handedly driven component plants to a point where they've had huge order files, right? Based on housing under contract and yet to be built and so on and so forth. I'm starting to see some of that lead time dissipate, and not by a small margin.
Really? That's new. That's something new I'm kind of hearing. So but some of these trust plants also survive on the multifamily too, which they've got on. They're out a long time, right? So, but like you're talking about some of the trust facilities and component facilities that just
No, I'm saying guys that we do business with on the wholesale side that are active in both markets.
Yeah,
they're starting to have some production freeing up.
Oh, okay.
For various reasons. I don't know. I mean, I've talked to, half a dozen, 10 guys, and that's kind of been the consensus. But how long that lasts, I don't know. And it may be an isolated incident based on whatever.
But
right?
was that a surprise to some of the people that you're talking to, and it happened quickly? Relatively,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. What did they say were some of the reasons for that they felt?
Jobs were being pushed out, right?
Okay.
Because once again, you get into a situation like that, you've got dollar cost averages of inventory of prices that were locked in 90 days ago. Mm-hmm. A lot of the trust guys, they when they quote a job, they want 90 to 120 day price lock.
Right.
And if somebody was willing to take that bet, they took it, and now all of a sudden they're kind of getting the short end of the stick because the job's getting pushed out. But they again, just like multifamily with us wanting to quote September, where risk premiums here, their realistic price or target price is here, just doesn't add up, and we won't take the business.
But what you're saying is, but you will take it if you can get the number that you build your risk premium in for.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So what you're really saying is, look, we have a model that we can manage our risk and we can price that for you, but your expectation versus what I know I need to do to run my company and protect my risk and keep myself safe and running is a lot different than what you're asking me to do for you.
I mean, it's $40, $50, almost $100, depending on how far out they want it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sometimes even higher than that, depending on the product. But
yeah.
I mean, you look at and take Southern Yellow Pine studs versus spruce studs. There's still a huge, huge benefit.
Yeah.
Right? So if you've got somebody that's open to using a different species, at what point and I think they asked the wholesale market and the stud mills and everybody else the same thing probably a couple times over the past couple of years, when does greed stop?
Yes.
So at what point is there kind of a, hey, what brings value to you? What price point do you need it? Okay, well, I can do that, but I can't push it out till September or middle of September or end of September or whatever that case may be. And are you willing to make, concessions based on that? And some people are willing to play ball and some people aren't.
No doubt. Well, I will say one reason I think you see a lot more of that is you're growing and getting out to a lot more people, but the risk tolerance at a lot of these big trading houses is gone right now, right? And if what I mean by that is, there's big companies out there that pretty much run 5% or higher of all the open market spot wood that trades in North America. And I know 5% doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot. Because when you take out the contract wood, that 5% then becomes, a larger amount of the whole amount of lumber being traded. And what I'm hearing is some of these big companies have been told, hey, these first 6 months, we've made tens of millions of dollars as a company, and we don't want to give that back. And there's a lot of uncertainty, so we don't want these big long and big short positions out there. And so people have to go find other people to take that risk then, right? And
Yep.
I don't think there's a lot of people out there willing to do that and want to give. Let's face it, most of the people that we know in this industry, Charles, have had their best years in the first half of the year ever in the history of being in this business. Some to the point where I don't know if it's generational changing money, but it certainly is.
It could be.
It could be. It could
I
be.
mean,
It certainly is. Hey, I could probably go out and buy a new Lambo, right? Type of money. But I'm going to put that aside. And the one thing I don't want to do is what always happens is I don't want to give half of it back. And
and that goes into a premium, a risk premium, right? Like I said, us here and some people realistically being here. I mean, the name of the game right now for anybody that's participating is capital preservation, Ash.
Absolutely.
It's trying to keep as much money as you can in your pocket and you don't lose it based on a bad bet. But at some point, there's a risk versus reward ratio that makes sense for any company or any trading floor or any manufacturer or reman to kind of take and own. And there's certain people in our industry, in our segment, that may just be a reman, that do a lot of contract cutting and they do it for a cut fee and so on and so forth. We're not that guy. We're a totally different setup. So that's where, you have some people that want to pay for it and understand what that means and some people that don't. And you're right. The big boys, they tens of millions of dollars is a very, very accurate.
And I'm being conservative here.
Yes.
I'm being conservative here. If I told people on this broadcast how much some people made in the last year, they'd probably question what they're doing. Right? But that's taking risks. What our industry is all about, mill, end use, wherever it goes into a house, a crate, whatever it is, and then everybody in the middle. And it's all the game of I need to transfer my risk to somebody else, right?
Yep. That is definitely the name of the game.
And right now, nobody really wants that risk. So it's being housed right now at that multifamily builder that's taken that job. It's being housed.
But I mean they're in the money though. I mean
no doubt. But what I'm saying is nobody really wants to take that risk, and it's getting very interesting, and our market's very efficient, and that risk will get dispersed out amongst people one way or another, right? And it'll find a way to do it, which is cool, and which is why our industry functions in a very interesting way. It's a pretty cool. I mean, I've got something interesting I want to show you here. See if I can find it. Bo just said if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. No doubt, man. No doubt about it. And there's just as many people, probably more people that fail at it, Bo, than succeed at it. Yes. No, kudos to you on that. I want to show you something right now. Here's where I was at today. This is the new pit in the building here. So think about that. We've got a new pit. You probably can't see that real well, can you? Let me see if I can tip it.
I see your face.
Yeah, let's try something different here. How does that look?
That looks better.
That's a new trading floor here. So it's interesting how that's just risk being transferred all over the world right there. And it's no different in our lumber business, the different trading that's going on, but it's pretty cool. A lot of it's going on, a lot of price discovery going on right now. So what do you see in pine right now? Pine's been a really interesting one, kind of led this market down, bounced maybe a little bit off the low, but have you seen much price bite where it's moving up on some items right now in pine? And the only reason I'm asking, I don't see it enough.
Well, I mean, bite, yes, in certain items. 2x4s, obviously, yes. 2x6 has finally hit a bottom after hitting a low trade number. 2x8s and 10s and 12s. 12s are kind of firming up a little bit because there's still a shortage of I-beams and floor joists and so on and so forth. So that's firming up as well. But I don't know if we're going to see big $50, $100, $150 price jumps. I mean, full disclosure, I was kind of surprised to see how much spruce jumped over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yep, no doubt about that. How much did it jump just on print? I didn't even see.
I think it was close to $100.
Okay.
And I mean, Mills and everybody else were up $100 before Friday came out last week from the week before.
Yeah, which is the game now. Trade it, let it a big discount, and then report higher prices, right? I mean, that's but it's hard for price. Like, it's hard for price discovery right now, right? But there's been a lot of wood moving, and it's a fluid market. What are you seeing? I'm seeing panels getting a little bit of play right now. People at least looking for more on the platform right now. Are you seeing a little bit more of that? But it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere special, unless I'm missing that.
No, I mean, it's definitely firming up. I mean, you're getting to a point too, once again, 60, 70 trucks in July, PTS Friday before, or some sort of program business with a risk premium coming from a mill too, right? For that future ship date. Yeah. So is it finding a bottom? Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of it, maybe a contributing factor is what's going on with the Tico stamp and the Brazilian plywood, and how that is kind of washing itself throughout the market. But I don't know if we're going to see, once again, I'm not a buyer at $100, $150 price jumps over the next couple of weeks. You're going into July, historically the slowest month of the year. August is usually pretty gangbusters. So July gives you an opportunity to buy into the market, get value, bring value to your customers, and move forward from there. But at the same time, that's historical.
Right.
We're creating history every day now.
Well, there's been a lot of panels traded in the last week or two now, albeit at different numbers, but there's been a lot of volume traded, right? Let's go back to the old thing. Every amount that gets made gets sold. So it's all going to places. And I think that one I don't get it, so I don't know the number of that, but somebody told me some of the print numbers on panels were made more than they're currently trading at, right? Some of the actual print numbers. I haven't looked at them to see, but
because I mean, there are some panel mills that sold into it pretty well.
Yeah, they did.
They got lead times. They're 2 weeks out.
Right. Sent a lot. I mean, price order file leads price, right? And they got in front of it. So now we'll see. We go into a long weekend, a July 4th thing. And that, like we always say, long or holiday weekends or holidays can always change the mental mindset of people. The home centers will see how much outtake they had on stuff. And we'll see, and maybe it'll be better than expected. I don't know, but my feeling is we're starting to try to firm up here a little bit, and at least find a new range in the market, and figure out if the world is as bad as we think it is. Because hey, man, I went out this weekend to a restaurant on Saturday night, and judging from what I saw, there's no recession going on. From what I saw,
there's not. No, I have the same. I have the same.
And I'm looking for it, and I walk up to the person at the counter. I'm like, "Hey, look, have you noticed a pullback in people?" Like, no, there's more people coming out now, and in my little neck of the woods, the houses are still trading within a quick amount of time. Now, are the ones that somebody asked a big, crazy price for? They're coming down to more realistic pricing. There's still liquidity on houses. One of my buddies is a big mortgage broker. I was out to dinner with him Saturday night. They're not doing any refinancing. And he said a lot of the homes that he's seen traded are all cash deals, right? So, the only people that do stuff with all cash deals have a lot of money. Entry-level homes, are there still companies maybe buying blocks of homes when they're getting ready? There's a lot more investors maybe here to underpin that entry-level marketplace, and maybe this is a new world order, and we'll all be renters in the next 6 to 8 years, right? But I gotta say, I look around and I can only say what I see. I see people spending money and doing a lot of stuff still, and starting to accept these higher gas prices. And when I say accept them,
there's go.
It just is what it is. You just buy it. You just do it, right? And so I'm starting to turn from maybe things aren't that bad, right? And I think
it's not that bad. I guess it's not bad because people have also been locked up the majority of the time for the past 2 years, right? I mean, us in lumber business, we've had a lot of excitement, right?
Right.
And obviously, every country, region, state, municipality had different rules on how to deal with whatever happened over the past 2.5, 3 years. But people are actually now to the point where maybe they already did their remodel. They don't want to buy any more treated
Well,
lumber. They don't want to buy a deck. They'd rather go on a vacation because they haven't been able to go on a vacation because they didn't want to wear a mask or they didn't get vaccinated or whatever the case may be. They take that $7,000 and go to South Florida and go on an offshore fishing trip with their kids.
Well, I read another thing where somebody's, maybe it's not the lumber as much. People are doing a remodel and they're spending more money on their kitchen and things like that now, right? So,
Yep.
but the thing is, people are spending money somewhere, and it still looks like they're doing it. So, hey, man, I guess the whole thing, you got to be long America, right?
That's the only way to be.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's the way. Somebody said real estate investment companies buying heavily on offers. So, I mean, I like looking at John Burns stuff and other things for a long time, and I need to get the statistics and the actual numbers. You know, we always kind of talked about the big companies buying homes, and it was a small blip, right? But it was still interesting. Now it's getting to be enough where it's like, that's a pretty good, you know, if it's 10%, that's a lot of extra. That's a lot of underpinning in the market with cash, right?
A lot of froth.
A lot of froth. So,
I mean, at some point, it's got to stop, right? That's the scary part.
I mean, yeah, maybe we're finally adjusting. The permits and starts came down enough to where we can get some completions. Maybe we clear this backlog of homes we're that's pent up to build, and we run again. I think we're kind of found a level where we want to build at, and we'll see. So what's on the docket for you this week? What are you guys looking to do down there?
I mean, just stay in the market. We got a bunch of stuff that we're running and continuing to plug through. I mean, there's July 4th always brings a perplexing environment, you know, because if you look at what happened last year and the year before that, leading up to the big runs and all that, you know, it was, I don't know. And you can't really look at historical data. You just got to make sure whatever you're committed to, you're covered and you're hedging whatever percentage you feel comfortable with and whatever your risk tolerance is. That's it. Because if you go above and beyond that, I think there's going to be a lot of bear traps along the way.
Yeah, no. So I mean, like I said, I'm kind of turning the ship around in my mind to where things are right now, where I think they're never as bad as they are, never as good as they are, but takeaway is still solid, and people still want to seem to be in the housing market, and the fact that we've got one thing we have to look at is, you know, people are moving all over the country now and buying new homes and still selling their homes in making, you know, I put that thing out today about Citadel leaving Chicago, right? Well, that means they got to buy a bunch of homes in Miami, right? So, and you know, a lot of those people up here in Chicago.
Yeah, but those aren't normal everyday homes, though, Ash.
No, they're not. Those are the ones on the Miami Vice pictures.
I mean, that's not. We're not. Yeah, we're not.
Oh, they may be kind of frugal, right? We'll see.
Yeah, frugal compared to what?
I don't know. I don't know what frugal. One person's frugal is different from another person's, right?
Definitely perspective.
Well, listen, everybody. So we're up against 20 minutes. So we'll keep her short today. So Charles, if you want to get a hold of Charles De La Torre at Industrial Forest Products, you can contact him on his email. Let me see if we could. Thanks, George. C. De La Torre at ifpwood.com. What's your handle on Twitter if everybody wants to get a hold of you there?
At IFPCD.
At IFPCD. Very cool. At IFPCD. There it is. At IFPCD. Charles is becoming a regular influencer in the lumber and
I'm not you, Ash.
And market.
I'm not you. No.
I wouldn't wish that upon anybody, Charles. And if you want to come to Materials Exchange, we are the digital market that is leading the way and matching buyers and sellers of lumber digitally, changing the way things are done in the industry. mxlumber.com. Come to register. We'll get you online listing to buy and sell. And here's the great thing is if you're a traditional buyer, you can actually sell your excess inventory on our platform back into the supply chain, which a lot of retailers are starting to do. Trust facilities are starting to do. It allows them more flexibility when they buy stuff. They can buy more volume and sell some stuff back into the platform. We'll look forward to doing this again next week. So tomorrow, Tuesday, Mike will have futures from the free seats tomorrow with Greg Kuda. Wednesday, we'll have Greg Riley, Matt Beamer, myself, Lunch with Lumbermen. And on Thursday, we will do Matt Lehman. I think I'm getting
Then you
this
have
right.
it backwards.
I got it backwards. This Week in Lumber with Greg. This Week in Lumber on Wednesday. Thursday, Lunch with Lumbermen. Friday, Smart Market. All at 12 o'clock Central Time. You can stream it and see it live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, and there's about 7 different locations you can see it at. Reach out to us if you want any copies. You can also go to our homepage, mxlumber.com, and you can see Jory has all the library of all the shows that we've had in the past that you can catch up and watch anytime you want, or rewatch it on LinkedIn. But we've got a lot of good feedback on that. So Charles, great to have you on Monday. I hope to see you soon, and we'll chat.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All
Have
right.
a good week.
You bet.